Nobody really knows for sure just when or where the first nail made its debut, but the history of the lowly nail can be traced back thousands of years. Copper and bronze nails, for example, dating to around 3500 BC, have been found in Mesopotamia and Egypt. References to nails can be found throughout the Bible as well. While the general purpose of the nail has always been for fastening pieces of wood together, other creative applications have been made of this versatile product as well. Heading into the American Revolution, England was the largest manufacturer of nails in the world, and nails were virtually impossible to obtain in the American colonies. Therefore, it was not uncommon for the village blacksmith to engage in nail manufacturing and for families to have small forges that they could use to make nails of their own. If they had excess of nails, they could use them for barter purposes as well. Such a high value was placed on nails that it was not uncommon practice to salvage nails from burned homes and structures for reuse. In 1796, the nail-cutting machine was invented. This machine would eventually make the transition from locally made blacksmith nails to mass-produced nails and was first put into operation by the Tremont Nail Company, which was founded in 1819 in Wareham, Massachusetts. Throughout the American Civil War and well into the 1890s, cut nails were the fasteners of choice. When we dig a Civil War winter camp, or even a Civil War temporary camp for that matter, one of the relics that seems to plague the diggers the most is the lowly cut nail. Not just one or two or even a few, but hundreds of cut nails can be found during a dig. Cut nails of all shapes and sizes were used for all sorts of things throughout the campsite, but one of their primary uses was for that of hut building. Some huts were built out of logs with planks nailed on the log rafters to make the roof. Some of the huts and camp buildings were made entirely of planks nailed to the logs for both the walls and the roofs. The doors on the huts were made from planks nailed together. The bunks were made from planks nailed together. There were crates in the campsite that were made from boards nailed together, and the list goes on and on. Nails served other purposes as well. The soldiers would drive them into the logs inside their huts to hang their gear on. They'd bend S-hooks and J-hooks and V-hooks and make small tools and screwdrivers out of the nails. One can imagine that the soldiers would have used nails to punch holes in the tops of their ration cans. Nails were sharpened and used as artist tools to make love tokens, poker chips, and carve bullets. Nails also made great leather punches. Even though nails hold as much or more significant importance than buttons, and buckles, and other relics do, it remains the most disrespected relic of all times. Perhaps it's because of the sheer numbers found, or perhaps it's because they are viewed as a nuisance. But nails are relics too, and deserve to be treated with a little bit of respect. But what can one do with nails anyway? Remember what we learned earlier, that nails have been used for creative and imaginative purposes other than fasteners? Here are a couple ideas from diggers at DIV XII, who recognized that nails had some significant value in the relic world and put them in a display case in a unique fashion, giving the nails the credit that they deserve. So come along with me as I take the nails that I recovered while hut digging at DIV XII and turn them into a creative and unique display of my own. I started my project by separating and sorting my nails. I separated the straight ones from the crooked ones and the whole ones from the broken ones, and I put them into a pan of clear soapy water to rinse the dirt off of them. Stir them around, and as you can see, the water turns sort of the color of the dirt at DIV XII. Once I am satisfied that the nails are relatively free of dirt, I pull them from the water and set them on this brown paper bag where I'll allow them to dry for a few minutes before I place them on a tray and stick them in the oven. The nails have had a chance to drip dry on the paper bag, but they're still damp. So I'm going to place them in the oven set at 350 degrees, and I'm going to heat them until the nails are completely dry. While the nails are in the oven, I'm going to take some of this Total Solutions rust converter and pour just a bit of it into the bottom of this aluminum pan. While the nails are still warm, I'm going to dump them into the pan of rust converter and use a stick to stir them around until I'm convinced that all the nails are completely saturated with the solution. Now I'll take the pan and dump it into this little box that has hardware cloth in the bottom to allow the excess solution to drain off, and they will stay in that box for 24 hours until the solution has had a time to cure. In the meantime, I'm going to take some of these rocks that I dug at DIV, and I'm going to wrap them in a cloth, smash them with the hammer, and turn them into a coarse rock mixture like you see right here. Old nails and crushed rocks. Good grief. Can anyone guess what the nature of my project is yet? Well, the next step of my project is going to be to take a scrap piece of plywood and lay out 2 rectangles on it, and then cut the rectangles out so you have a board like you see right here. Okay, I can't keep a secret any longer. Here's what my project is. Using the nails that I recovered while hut digging at DIV XII, along with the crushed up rocks which I also recovered while hut digging at DIV XII, combined with a little bit of red dirt that came home with me from DIV XII, and using this piece of mysterious plywood with the rectangles cut out of it, my goal is to build a diorama replicating 2 winter huts. Winter huts as I envision the ones look like that the nails and the dirt and the rocks came from. I will be using the nails for logs, and I'll be using the dirt on the floor below ground, and I'll be using the rock dust to create the walls that you see below ground. As you can see here, the huts are in their preliminary stages of construction. Got the gable ends built on one hut and the walls on the other, and the fireplaces are in place. Things look rather sloppy, but that'll be cleaned up before the end of the project. The framing on the huts is complete. I've got the nails set for rafters, and I've got a small cotton bag that I've cut up and applied shellac to that I'll be using for the roofing material. It's drying now, but I'll be putting it on momentarily. The next time you see this diorama, everything will be in place and it'll be almost complete. While waiting for the roof material to dry, I went off to the craft store and bought the things that I will need to complete the diorama. My winter hut diorama is complete now. The huts, being built from the nails from DIV XII, certainly is a unique way to preserve the nails and show them off as a relic. But in addition to that, since it was built from the nails from DIV XII, and I used dirt and rocks from DIV XII, this project will help me keep the memories alive of the great time that I had while digging the huts at DIV XII. Of course, there are a few inconsistencies here. I realize that the soldiers that I have shown here are actually Confederate soldiers, whereas these were Yankee camps at DIV XII, but I couldn't find any of the Yankee figures, and these are just sort of suggestive anyhow. But nevertheless, I think it was a fun project, and I'm pretty happy with the end result. Thank you very much for watching my video. I hope you've enjoyed it. And the next time that you dig a nail or a piece of scrap iron, I hope this movie has inspired you to see its potential as a relic and not just another piece of trash. Thank you very much for watching another Albemarle Digger presentation. I hope to see you again in a future video.